Well, hello and welcome, internet friends, allies, and foes. Welcome to the Matt Powers Show podcast, a discussion podcast where I, your titular host, Matt Powers, a comic book character turned elder millennial, get to talk to you about whatever I want to talk to you about. Really, it's about entertainment, it's about TV, news, about music, about movies, about video games, comic books, sports, whatever fancies that come across, things that I love, right? It's whatever I want to talk about. Thanks for showing up today. Thanks for listening. If you're a long-time listener, I appreciate you coming back. If you're new, welcome. So really what we're doing here is every time I do one of these episodes, I pick a topic, something I want to talk about. And I just have a discussion. I'm just talking to the internet. So whoever's listening, I'm talking to you. And I'm telling you whatever it is I think on the subject. It's not about me being right or trying to prove a point. It's all opinion. It's all subjective. Entertainment is subjective. So this is me getting a chance to talk to the world and just say, hey, here's what I'm thinking on this one particular niche topic. What do you think? And then at the end, what I'm hoping is you'll leave comments below or send me an email. Let me know what you think. Let me know how you feel about what I said. Did I change your perspective on something, or is what I'm saying complete and utter trash? All I ask is that you're respectful. Be respectful. But outside of that, I want to have a conversation. That's all it is. And today, one of the things I want to talk about. So I'm a big fan of really niche kind of content. Like, I like finding genre stuff. I like finding things that 10 people in the world might be interested in. And one of the things I love, especially growing up, I love those old radio plays from the 30s and 40s. That were, when I was a kid, in the late 80s and early 90s, they put it on, they put them on tape, and then they put them on CD as CDs came out. So I used to listen to the Star Wars radio play. There was a radio play where they took the actual Star Wars, the original Star Wars, and they turned it into a radio play. So it was like a dramatization. It was like a TV show without the visual. For those of you who might be too young to know what a radio play is, it's an audio adventure. It's an audio drama. And as I got older, I realized these are fun. These are fun to listen to. And I really like them. I like the style of them. Well, in the last 10 years, I've made some. My friend Taylor and I, we used to make something called Voices from the Vortex, which you can find on YouTube. It is a fan fiction Doctor Who radio play podcast where we played two other Time Lords in Doctor Who, called the Bachelor and the Associate, traveling through space and time, having adventures. And then I also created an original IP called Ace Starfield, Spaceman of Tomorrow, which was sort of a throwback to those old Flash Gordon serials of the 1930s, the radio plays. And I think radio plays are great. There's a lot of them out there. There's a lot of them with kind of unique ideas that have happened just in the last 10 years or so. You might have heard of what's it called? Night Vale? Is that what? Wow, I can't believe I'm blanking on the name as I'm sitting at a computer. I just look it up. But it's basically a fake radio station that's broadcasting creepy, weird, bizarre news about this small town in the desert. There's also the other one that I really, really love, though. The one that I like listening to, that I really love, is called King Falls AM. And again, it's a fictitious late night radio program where the two hosts are talking in this small town in the northwest corridor, called King Falls, where weird stuff happens, like alien abductions and maybe vampires and werewolves and things. And they, it's these two people and sort of the ongoing story that you're hearing from their radio program, which I thought was really clever, very, very clever. But I find more and more, so really a big thing right now is to listen to podcasts, right? That is a huge business right now. Everybody listens to you right now listening to this, obviously listening to a podcast, but I bet you listen to several different kinds of podcasts. I bet you listen to podcasts when you go to the gym. I bet you listen to podcasts when you're sitting at work, mindlessly doing, whatever the work is that you do. I bet you listen to podcasts, when you're sitting at home and you're drawing or you're cooking or whatever. We just listen to it in the back because it's something you can have on in the background. You don't have to pay attention. You can just kind of listen. You don't have to see it. You don't have to look at it. Podcasts are great. But they tend to just be narrative, right? Unlike something like this, which is just me talking, a discussion. It's like having a one-sided conversation. Most podcasts are trying to tell you information. Maybe there's two people on it talking about something, about a show that they were on or they like. For the most part, it's just people talking. But a radio play is a very specific format of podcast, right? It's a very specific kind of content because you actually have to pay attention. You actually have to listen. But also you get invested in it. Characters, the story, what's happening. And people have to use words to describe what's happening. You can't just show people. You get to hear it. Now there are some really good radio plays that exist, certainly. A lot of people have tried it. A lot of people have succeeded. Some people have failed. But I according to the title of this episode, radio plays need to make a comeback. I really truly believe this, and here's why. We live in an age where, and I know we've talked about how we experience content before. We live in an age where most content that people want to experience is very small. It's 10 minutes, it's 7 minutes, it's 12 minutes. It's micro content is what they call it. And podcasts tend to be long. They tend to be an hour or 2 hours or whatever. And that's fine. You're really interested in something, you really want something on in the background. But I think people are begging for bite-sized content that is narrative-driven. Something unique and special. And radio plays offer the perfect example of that. When writing Ace Starfield originally, I wrote them, every episode, which was about a half an hour long, I wrote them as two 10 to 12 minute bits. 10 to 12 minute chapters. And that was one episode. And if I were to do more seasons of Ace Starfield now, I think what I would do is I would do even smaller than that. I think I would most certainly the longest would be 12 minutes. Maybe 10 minutes would be about the average that I'd want to do. Okay. But I would do a lot of episodes in a row. It'd be very serialized content. Right. I honestly think that's what people want. I really do. I think people are hungry for that bite-sized content, but a lot of it. Radio plays really fit the bill. And I think if radio plays made a comeback, this would be a huge door to open for new kinds of shows. In kind of the same vein as that, look at comics. Mainstream comics exist as monthly periodicals. But then you have webcomics, or maybe something like webtoons, which is a very specific kind of webcomic. And there is definitely marketing potential there, isn't there? It's bite-sized versions of what people pay normally for the bigger content for. A full issue of a comic, a full trade of a comic, or you read a webcomic and it's just a little piece of it, a little piece of the story. And then you have a bunch of them over a period of time. People are looking for that little piece of story. And as big as podcasts are, I think radio plays are that next step. And I know it's something that the big companies are thinking about. DC is investing a lot of money this year and next year into producing new radio plays for the internet. They're doing a Batman radio play. I believe they're doing a Superman radio play, and there's something else that they're doing. I can't think of the other ones. I don't know, maybe they haven't announced it yet. They're going to do a bunch of radio plays. I think this is the perfect time. If you're a content creator, start putting money and time into these radio plays. Now, what do I know? I'm not an expert. I've done a couple before. Neither were a success. I don't think anyone actually ever listened to anything that I was producing. or those who were just friends and family. We never really reached an audience, so that's fair. That's fine. We didn't try. But certainly now, that is a type of content that I would be happy to make because people are interested. And you can do so many different genres with it. You can do mysteries, you can do pulp heroes, you can do action adventures and science fiction, you can do romance. You could do slice of life, a day in the life of. People like all sorts of content. There's room for all of it. And because it's not visual, because it's all audio, it's easier today now than ever to create audio content. Because you've got all these resources online, you get free programs online. It'd be cheap to produce a radio play. You can put it online, put it basically on everything for a very small, very nominal fee. You can have it on iHeartRadio, and Pandora Radio, and Alexa, and Google, and Apple, and wherever, and Spotify, and, wherever. You put it on YouTube, you can share it on Facebook and Twitter. I don't know. I feel like this is a piece of content that needs to come back. I really don't know much more to say about it, right? I'm not trying to prove a point here. I'm just saying, I think radio plays need to make a comeback. I think they are making a comeback. I think big companies have finally realized, wow, this is a cheap form of entertainment that we can pay very little in order to produce and probably get a big cut out of it. There's a company called Big Finish out of England that does work for the BBC, and they make the Doctor Who radio plays, and they make Blake Seven radio play. Blake Seven, it's an old 70s sci-fi show. It's a 60s sci-fi show. They make a whole bunch. They do a whole bunch of different radio plays from a lot of different IPs. And then, I assume they're making money. They're still in business. If they weren't making money, they certainly wouldn't be making more radio plays. But every year they've got a catalog of it coming out. This is the perfect time. If I had any IP that I could play with. So how about this? I'll tell you, if I had any IP that I was allowed to play with, and they said, okay, you can make a radio play on this, what would that IP be? Well, I'll tell you. I'll tell you what that IP would be. It would be Ghostbusters. Right now is the perfect time for comeback of good Ghostbuster content. First off, because you have an entire, elder millennials have all grown up loving Ghostbusters. For sure. And even above us, the Gen Xers and even the baby boomers all love Ghostbusters. You have a younger generation that doesn't really know it, except for maybe the all-girls reboot, the Answer the Call movie. And then we have Ghostbusters Afterlife coming out this year sometime. Might even be out by the time you hear this podcast. So I would do a radio play. I would do a Ghostbusters radio play. First of all the sound effects are available. Columbia Pictures, or whoever owns Sony, I guess, who owns it, has all the sound effects from the movies, right? All the classic music, so you don't have to worry about paying for too much more music. You can get voice actors. Most of the voice actors from the cartoon are still alive. Although we're missing one of the original actors who played the characters. Of course, Harold Ramis, unfortunately, passed away. But Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray, and so I wanted to call him Winston, right? I'm so sorry, sir. I can't believe that I'm blanking on your name. I'm having trouble with names today. This is a terrible podcast. Why is anyone listening to this? Ernie Hudson. There's his name. They're all still alive. Certainly, they can do the voices, or you could go and you could do the other route. You could get new voice actors. You can get the guys that do the voices for the cartoon or whatever. But you do a show, and the seasons could be. It doesn't matter how long they are. Like manga, it could just be ongoing, right? It doesn't have to be 10 episodes a season or whatever. You could just say, well, we're just gonna based on the storyline, we're just gonna go. Or you could make them self-contained projects, stories that are 6 episodes or whatever long. As long as the length of the episodes are about 10 to 12 minutes. I think that'd be fun. You could do a new crew. Well, we're going to do another podcast at some point in time. I would love to do a Ghostbusters TV show. I got a really great idea for how to do the TV show, the kind of story that I'd want to do. We'll get into that another time. But you could do a whole new crew of Ghostbusters that are training under, they're new recruits that are being trained. right? So you can get all new actors, and maybe you only get Ernie Hudson to come back, or Dan Aykroyd to come back to cameos. Okay, we only need one, you know. I don't know. I think that would be a great idea. I think it'd be a lot of fun. I think especially fans of Ghostbusters would really be into it. But I'm saying Ghostbusters, but imagine what your favorite show or movie is. Imagine if... think of something mundane. Not something fantastical like Back to the Future, Ghostbusters, or whatever, Star Wars, or whatever. Think of something more mundane. Think of a sitcom. Think of how funny it would be to have a new season of Friends. To have all the cast members voice their characters. But you don't see it, you hear it. A lot of jokes can be made. You're really funny. There's a lot of potential in radio plays. There's a lot of potential out there. You start thinking about all the IPs out there, especially the aging stars. We don't want to go back on television, but their voices still sound like them. So what do you guys think? So that's my conversation, right? That's my idea. Radio plays, I think, need to make a comeback. Have you ever heard a radio play before? Do you enjoy them? What do you think would be a good IP for a radio play? Do you think radio plays can sell in today's market? Or do you think it's just a silly gimmick that people are going to listen to and ignore? What do you think? Tell me what you think below. Put some comments below for me. Let me know, what kind of radio play. If you like radio plays, what would you listen to? What are new IPs? What are you looking for in a radio play? What would be your favorite show to put on a radio play? What would be the coolest format to do it, right? Or if you don't like radio plays, tell me why. Do me a favor, don't be rude, right? Just be nice about it. And if you're trying to make a point about something, show me why. If you say, well, radio plays, they only sell so much. Well, okay, show me those numbers. I'd love to see them. I really would. I'm not, this is just a discussion. I would love to see what you have to say, but I would love to see the evidence. Leave some comments below or send me an email. davidcampproductions@gmail.com. And I'll tell you what I'll do. You put the stuff down below, you send me the emails, and in a week or so, I will compile all that stuff. I'll do an update episode of the podcast during the week, and we'll talk about it. I'll read the stuff online, and I'll discuss with you. Well, maybe you change my mind. Maybe you don't. Maybe we just can't come together on this because we have opposing opinions on it. That's fine. It's all subjective. It's all good. No one's wrong. Everyone's right. I appreciate you guys listening to me today. Thank you so much. Of course, if you like the video, please like it. Please subscribe to the channel. It's the YouTube dance, You guys have heard it in every single YouTube video, but it's there. You gotta hear it. I sincerely appreciate you listening. So, okay. Thanks for coming by. If you're new, please come back next time. And if you're a returning person, hey, thanks for coming back. Come back again. We got lots of plenty of topics to talk about. There's always something I want to talk about. Feel free to give me some suggestions below, and I will see you all on the next episode. This is Matt Powers, as always, saying, Powers up.